Today on Tyria Talk, ArenaNet celebrates 3 million copies sold of Guild Wars 2, Colin Johanson writes a blog about 2013's goals, and we all wonder why I have stuffed animals on my shoulder. Let's get to it. Howdy folks, my name is Richie aka Bog Otter, and welcome back to another episode of Tyria Talk. This is episode number 48, and today we're going to be talking about all those things I just mentioned in the intro. So let's get to it. Yeah, big news today. ArenaNet sells 3 million copies of their game since launch. That's a pretty big milestone if you ask me. So they're actually very excited about this, and congrats to them, and they deserve all of the success that they've poured. They poured their heart and souls into this game, and I'm glad it's doing very, very well for them. But that wasn't the only news. Today, Colin Johanson actually wrote a very lengthy blog post kind of detailing the roadmap for the first 6 months of 2013. Now, some of the features and stuff that he went over were stuff that we've known about, but there were some things, a couple surprises in there, and basically he just went over things we should expect to see in the first half. Now, of course, things are subject to change. We don't have a ton of details on all of these features, but I thought we'd go through it, and I'll just give you my spin and my personal opinion on what we can expect to see. So the first thing that they wanted to kind of drive home was that they believe that the pillars, the things that really hold the game together, are the community and having a dynamic and living world. And they want to be able to kind of make that the relevant content for a large portion of their goal. What they want to do is they want people to actually go through the open world, and they want them to continue to do dynamic events and experience the story. And currently in the game, there's not really much reason to do that. I mean, you can go for 100% map completion. That's certainly a goal that some people have, and you can like level alts and stuff like that. But if you've got a max level character, you already did world completion, there's not too much incentive to actually go through and explore the world. And it's a shame. There's probably tons of things you haven't seen. And so what they want to do is they're going to add more events throughout all the zones. And the more events that they put in there, the less that they have to repeat, and the more it'll feel like a changing, breathing world. But that's really not enough, because even if they put a lot of events in, even if they put more story-focused events in, people are going to say, well, why do I want to go back to these lower-level zones? Even though you do scale down in level, why would I want to go back there and stuff like that? So that's a big key, is the incentive. So what they said, they're going to be revamping the reward structure. And they're going to be adding rewards to achievements. And specifically, they mentioned there's going to be some tokens that you can earn from doing like your daily achievements. And these tokens are going to be able to be traded in for various items, like end-game items, or items that you would kind of want as a max level character. So these would be things like unidentified dyes, mini pets, endless tonics, weapons, ascended gear, infusions. Let me think if anything else. Let me look at my little list here. No, and so all kinds of items like that. They actually had a screenshot of some of the items on a vendor, so just to give you an idea. So they're gonna have dailies and different achievements that you can earn these tokens by doing, and by exploring the world and doing these things, you can add these acquire these very relevant items. So they also said they're going to be revamping the way daily achievements work. Instead of it just being the same set of things every day, they want to change it up so that every day you get a different set of dailies. And they also want to allow you eventually to be able to pick some of the dailies to kind of skip each day. So let's say they want you to do 8 different dailies, 8 different things to get your daily. Maybe you only have to do 6 of them to actually get your token. So things like that. So you have some choice, so you don't feel like there's some mandatory things that you're forced to do that you don't want to. And it'll be great to actually have a variety. And not just the daily variety, killing all different type of monsters, a different kind of variety altogether. So that's kind of interesting. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see when we get more information about how that's going to work. But I like the fact that you can be incentivized to go through older zones. There's events I haven't experienced, and if they add more, then that's even great. That's like new content. But there has to be a reason to go back and do it. I'm not just gonna wander around the world hoping to find something new. It's going to be cool to actually have some reward for it. So I'm glad to see that. They also dropped this bomb. Well, it's not really a bomb, but you know what I mean. It's they're going to have something called guild missions. Now, we've been talking for a long time on GuildCast how that, actually before the game even launched, this was one of my big concerns, was that is there a reason to have a guild in PvE? Is there we know that there's no rating as we're used to seeing it in Guild Wars 2, but was there going to be like an open world boss that actually needed like a team of a large team of people coordinating over some sort of voice chat in order to defeat it? And the answer is not really in the game. I mean, the world bosses are pretty much just Zerg fest. You just get a large bunch of strangers together. You don't need any kind of coordination. And really, if you really break it down, the only thing in the game right now that requires it doesn't even require, but you can use a large group of people and coordinate over voice chat and have a lot of strategies, world versus world. So they're implementing something called guild missions. Don't have a lot of information about it. They basically said they want to have missions that a guild can work towards completing in a short time period. So that you have like a time limit and the guild has to get together and accomplish this, and there'll be some sort of rewards for that. And they also want to have some sort of guild missions that can be achieved and be put into the world, and then everybody in that world can kind of experience it. I don't know what that means. I'm kind of thinking that there's some large scale, like the guild works on something for a really long time, and then some new monument appears that you can interact with, or they built some sort of castle that you can explore. I don't know exactly what this could be, but that's really all the information we have about it. But it sounds really cool, and it's great to see that ArenaNet's at least addressing this hole that they have right now, and giving actually guilds something to do in PvE. Next up, World versus World. Now, we know that February is supposed to be the World versus World content patch, so hopefully some of this is going in there. They are still working on the fix for the culling issue. Now, the culling issue is the issue that when you're going around World versus World, sometimes enemies don't render on the screen for a few seconds, right? And it's particularly frustrating if you run into an open field and you think you're safe, and then all of a sudden enemies just appear all around you. It's also something some players kind of exploit, and they use mesmer portals to actually portal in a whole bunch of people at once, knowing that the enemy's not going to be able to react to it because they're not going to see everybody on the screen. Well, the fix for this has been like an engine overhaul. They have to really break open the back end and change the way a lot of the processes work, and it's a huge undertaking, but they are confident and optimistic that they're going to be able to significantly reduce, if not eliminate, the culling issue. So that's another big focus for them in World versus World. They're also looking to add paid server transfers in the first 6 months, which is going to kind of incentivize people to stick to a server and fight for the pride of their server in World versus World. There's currently, some big guilds will actually server hop. We've seen that a lot. Some servers were at the top in the beginning, and now they've fallen way down because the big World versus World servers transferred transferred somewhere else. So the paid transfers will actually have some sort of impact on World versus World, and it also is going to open up them to do guesting. Yes, they actually mentioned guesting in this post, which is pretty exciting. We don't know when exactly, but this is probably one of the most requested features. And if you don't know what it is, guesting is the ability to participate with other players on another server, and run around and explore the world or do dungeons. You can already do dungeons with people on another server, but you can explore the open world with. The only thing you can't do with players from another server is participate in World versus World. So they said that guesting is still coming, which is good because we haven't heard about that feature in quite some time. There's also going to be a new prestige system. Again, this is going back to adding more rewards and changing the reward system across the game. They're going to be adding a prestige system in World vs. World so that you can gain World vs. World only abilities and bonuses, visible titles, and other recognition. All right, let's start with the easy part. The visible titles and recognition. I think if they implement this so that people who are really good and really active in World versus World have like a symbol next to their name or a title next to their name that not only shows up for your server, but for other people's servers, I think that would be really, really fun. That'd be really cool. They're like, yeah, I'm a badass on this server, and yeah, I this symbol next to my name means you better watch out. I think that'd be cool. I still like the fact that they don't actually have player names from other servers appear. I know that people can debate that left and right. I like the fact that you're not going to target someone specifically and get out of World vs. World and whisper that person, it could just open up a lot of harassment since you can kind of whisper people cross server in Guild Wars 2. You don't really want people to do that. So I like that the players are kind of anonymous But I do like that you can actually stand out and gain some recognition for being, like I said, really, really powerful in World versus World, or really strategic, or really, have great leadership skills and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how they implement that. The part that I'm not so sure about, and I was talking to a buddy about this earlier today, World versus World only abilities. All right, so I don't know exactly what that could mean. It's going to totally depend on what this is. If it's simply, hey, you can, you progress in World versus World and you unlock like different spell animations, or your animations will look cooler or something like that, or something like that, which could be interesting. Or if there's just some abilities that grant some very minor things, I guess it could be okay. I'm a little bit I'm not worried, but because we have no information, and I don't want to claim the sky is falling, but you don't want abilities that are super, super powerful. You don't want just people who grind a lot of hours in World versus World to suddenly unlock abilities that are kind of game changers for World versus World. So I think they have to tread a little bit carefully with World versus World only abilities. So we'll see what that means exactly. It may be nothing and nothing to worry about at all. And they're also looking at some short-term reasons to actually, to participate in World versus World, and not just worry about the overall weekly score. So what tends to happen over the long run is a server will get really, really far ahead, and the other two servers, kind of just phone it in at that point. And even the server that's winning gets kind of bored, and there really doesn't seem to be much going on when there's one server that's just way ahead. So they're also adding some short-term reasons to actually keep, you might not be winning overall for the week, but hey, if you do really well for the next 2 hours, there might be some sort of bonus or incentive to do that. So I think that would be a good system to implement. Looking forward to more information on that. And there's still more. Yes, this was a doozy of a post. We've got structured PvP. Now, most of the stuff on the structured PvP list is already stuff that we knew was coming, but they just kind of wanted to confirm matchmaking is coming, so that when you queue up, you are matched versus people of a similar skill level. This is great for both novices, so they don't just get ganked and frustrated their first time, trying structured PvP. It's also great for people who want to hone their skills, so you'll be matched against people that can actually challenge you. They're looking at doing custom arenas still, so you can kind of rent this little private space where you and your PvP team can actually do skirmishes and scrimmages and practice strategies. And also spectator mode is on the list for the first 6 months of 2013. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully they can deliver on that, but the ability to watch matches will be great. They're also going to be doing, looking to doing some bigger tournaments, so they can have like quarterly tournaments or monthly tournaments, or even a yearly championship or something like that. So keep our eyes out looking for that. And just a couple of last things to wrap it up. They're looking at leaderboards, so that you can kind of go to a website and see who's like the best and the boldest and the most beautiful. I don't know. That's probably not going to be what it is at all. It's probably going to be more like a bunch of stats. There's also going to be revamps of the dungeon encounters. We've heard about that before. I'm very excited about that. I think there's some improvements that could be made there. So they're going to go through the dungeons and revamp and add to some of the encounters there. They're going to be improving the fractals. They're going to be doing a better looking for group tool, which is interesting, and just a whole bunch of stuff. They're going to be continuing to fight botters and hackers and different things like that. So looking at security as well. So there's like a very high level, summary of everything that's coming out in the first 6 months of 2013. We should also be getting some specific news about January's content patch. Here we are, what is it today? Today's the 15th while I'm recording this of January, and we don't know what's coming out in the January content patch yet. It's kind of interesting. So I expect a lot of news on that very soon. I can't wait to see. It's not going to be a huge content patch. I don't know if you've caught wind of that yet. They're going to be improving many areas of the game and kind of laying the groundwork for the next few patches. So don't expect the 5,000 new dungeons and a, brand new jumping puzzle, and Uncle Crispy jumping down from Lion's Arch using a rope ladder made out of wax paper, because that's not going to happen, and that probably will never happen. I don't even know where that came from. These are the thoughts that kept me out of the really good schools. So anyway, leave me a question or comment in the comments field below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to be notified when future videos are released. You could also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and Google Plus, and you can also follow me on my Twitch.tv channel. And if you have any questions that you want to email me, you can email me at askbogotter at gmail.com. And that's about it, guys. I thank everyone, and have a great day.
So, Gandalf,
Yes, Bilbo?
you know how I got this ring?
Yes.
And you know how it's powerful and evil?
Yes, yes.
And that the only way to destroy it is to throw it in the fires of Mount Doom?
Yes, yes, Bilbo. Get to your point.
Why didn't we just take the eagles that just rescued us and fly all the way to Mordor?
What do you mean?
The eagles that just rescued us from the goblins?
Yes?
Why didn't we just take them and fly all the way to Mount Doom?
It's a good question.